Hello guys, Nexas here, and welcome back to Destiny 2. And in today's video, guys, we are pissed. I'm also kind of sick as well, but we are sort of pissed off with, of course, Bungie, because they've finally given us one of the gnarliest, nastiest, sweetest looking freaking weapons for a glaive that we have ever got, called the Refusal of the Call. And what they've done is butchered the rolls, to be honest, because I just tested a couple of things out. Oh, I was so excited when I seen the rolls for this, and then I got this card roll that I was really looking for, and I realized it just doesn't work. So basically, if you see on the screen all the rolls you can get really nice ones for, of course, glaive. So I do think normal glaive enthusiasts are gonna like, obviously, the close to melee. You got unstoppable shot as well. You got the beacon rounds, disruption break, and then the Aegis shield, envious assassin, all that, impulse amplifier. I will say for glaive mains, they might really like this in like the LPVP scenario and stuff like that. It's got some of the good perks, but this is a strong glaive, first of all, which is uber rare, and secondly, it's got the sword logic perk. And you know what, logically, and that's not even me making a pun, guys, logically you would think, because when you shank or when you stab with the melee on this, it would trigger the sword logic, because you're using basically a sword. Nope, Bungie just haven't got it working with the melee for whatever reason. It's always been an issue with glaives. I don't know what it is. They just refuse to make the melee really work with anything bar like the 1000 warlock exotics that we have, like the Karnsteins, the Necrotic Grips, all them. But other than that, it just never works with any other freaking weapon perks. It's ridiculous. Just how does sword logic not proc when you melee? I don't understand it. It just mind boggles me, but we're pissed. It is a nasty looking weapon. Like, look at this thing. Look how raw this thing looks. It's just a bladed saber tooth. Oh my god, it looks so freaking dope. And it is strong, as I said, which is going to be really rare. It's the adaptive glaive as well, so there's a lot of adaptive glaives, but being strong is really nice, of course. Having top slots sort of like rake angles and everything, it is really nice to get more glaives like this. But as I said, I'm so pissed about the rolls. But I will be going in with this roll anyway, because even without the melee not really working with it, it's still a really nice roll just for the normal shots. If you shoot, of course, to get slice going, you get the sword logic going. Extra 25% in, of course, PvE, 20% PvP. It's gonna be pretty nice. So without further ado, let's go into PvE with the Refusal of the Call. Alrighty, time to go in, of course, with a little Refusal of the Call that could. And this is what it's going to look like and everything. You can kind of see the jagged edge on the end. I got kind of selected on it, but this is going to actually be kind of nice. I do have the halberds reach on, so you can kind of see that I can get the extra kind of damage going with the sword logic. It does work with projectile shots, so you can get, obviously, when I get a kill, but if you see me make it disappear now when I got to melee someone, you'll see it will not proc, which is just a Bungie. What are you doing to me? What are you freaking doing? This is ridiculous that you do not proc it off freaking melee kills. Oh, it's so much freaking potential. I will say that the sword logic is still a good bit of damage, especially when you kind of have the halberds reach on. You can kind of see every time I get a kill or a final kill, you'll see they will explode and everything as well, which is actually really, really nice. And as this is strands and stuff too, it can be pretty dope. You can see we got the sword logic kind of going by 3 because we killed the big yellow bar. But it's just so sad that it doesn't proc. And I will say too, when you have sword logic actually going, like you get a kill like this, you have the sword logic going, the melee damage does not increase. Now I have halberds reach on again, which does increase a little bit of damage, but the actual sword logic does not increase your melee damage. Only projectile damage, which I just don't get the actual logic. As I said, I'm not doing puns here. This is just, I don't understand what their logic is. I'm gonna stun this guy, and this is where glaives can actually be decent this season, but I just don't understand the logic. I'm having a perk called sword logic, and you can't even proc it off hitting them with the sword. It makes no freaking sense. It also does have slice on it, which I can't get going, but slice 2 does not interact with the old freaking melee, so you can kind of melee like that, it won't get going. If you shoot, you will get slice going. So there's just so much potential with this weapon, and that's why I'm so kind of pissed with Bungie, because they could make glaives insanely good. They could make them, like, I would say meta, but they could definitely make them really, really good, apart from being just this shield sort of nonsense. But they're just relegated to it. Now we're just going to do this. So we have slice going, and of course this is where slice is going to come out. You can see he's been sliced up, and of course slicing with the blade doesn't proc slice. It's only the freaking projectiles. But that is where the glaives obviously are going to be really, really nice. When you're kind of dealing with big enemies like this, you want a shield. They are still really, really dope for that. I'm not sitting here saying that this weapon is absolute ass or anything. It's going to be terrible, but it's just the potential. I'm telling you, if this actually had interactable sort of perks, you would definitely see this a lot freaking more. Obviously, getting sword logic going, constant procking it, getting kills, it's going to be really nice anyway, but I could see so much more people using glaives if you could actually proc the perk off the melees. Imagine having Synthos stacked on top of like sword logic or something. Maybe that would be a bit broken. That's what they're kind of probably afraid of. They don't want all those sort of extra melee sort of focused builds. getting even buffed with the sword logic and stuff like that. But without it, it just makes it really hard to warrant going in with a glaive. The other thing that's kind of funny on this weapon is as well is that this does have, of course, the disruption break, which is really, really nice. But when you get disruption break going, it makes your kinetic weapons do more damage. And this is a strong weapon, so I mean, unless you're using some special, I don't know, some weird ass kinetic or golden gun still against the kinetic weapon, you're not really gonna have the freaking strong kind of going in and doing the extra damage for disrupting people. So maybe it's for teammates, I don't know. There's so much weird about the rolls. As I said before it came out, I was super hyped for the rolls. I thought this was gonna be freaking nutty. But then it came out and I realized none of the freaking perks work really as you probably think they would. And it just completely ruined this weapon. Even though it's one of the sickest weapons in the game in terms of, as I said, it's a gnarly looking freaking teeth sword. But yeah, they just made it so hard to kind of warrant compared to other weapons. Now, this is where it is going to be so nice. Come on, buddy. Try shoot me. I freaking dare you. That is where it's really, really nice. Against things that spam shots are really hard to kill. It's going to be nice. And as I said, with the harbor reach as well. Or if you want to go for a Synthos build or something, it will be nice there too, so you can get the extra melee damage kind of going. Obviously, you make things explode as well. So there is a couple of nice things about it, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this glaive is ass or anything. It's just more the potential of the weapon. It could have been something outrageously good, and it just missed out. It just freaking missed out. Now, give me that freaking, of course, barrier, because we want to kill this guy, get the barrier going. There we go. There we go. That's as I said, it is really nice with the shield. You can obviously get the damage kind of going in as well. I just want the perks to work more so together. As I said, if you actually had them all kind of working together, it would be dope. But he's going to be, of course, slice. You see there is where I get, of course, the invis kind of going, which is actually really, really, really nice. And of course, when you get slice kind of going or unraveling rounds, of course, the strong weapon is going to do absolute work. I do understand people will be saying that they're going to get it regardless. And yeah, you should probably get some rolls because, as I said, strong glaives are kind of rare. So you probably do want to get yourself some rolls and everything. And glaives are unstopped this season. So in some like higher rank content, you might want to. You see, I could get sliced kind of going there. I have the unraveling rounds doing absolute work anyway. But I could have dodged there to get that big ass ogre kind of sliced and everything. This guy's going to be sliced now. He's going to die. I go in this. As I said, there's so much potential and there's actually decent builds for this already. I'm not crapping on this weapon by any means. Refusal of the call is actually a really dope ass glaive. You're gonna actually enjoy it if you're a glaive sort of player. But you gotta admit, the potential of sword logic being on this and actually working off melee would have been so freaking juicy. But the fact that it doesn't is just ridiculous. I just don't understand the logic. It's legit the closest we have to like a special sword. Well, we actually have swords. Okay, it's not the closest. We have swords, and we actually have a special sword in the Argo. So okay, it's not the closest, but it is close to freaking enough to be a damn sword. It's basically meant to be a shield and spear. Well, that is it for me. And of course, the refusal of the call strand glaive itself. And as I said, it is a really dope ass glaive. I think it looks hella dope as well. Obviously, it's just gnarly looking. It's a really sweet looking blade. But yeah, I just gotta reiterate, I'm pissed, Bungie. I don't understand why you keep on bringing out glaives with, and every time they get somewhat new perks, unless it explicitly says obviously it's for melee, like close to melee or whatever, the perks just never interact with the melee at all. It's like the melee is basically just like a stronger version of your normal fist. And at that stage, I might as well just fist them, okay? And Strand in general is going to benefit from this weapon anyway, getting the unraveling rounds kind of going. And as I said, Strand and sword logic, it still does proc off the shots. So slice isn't too hard to really get proc. You just dodge, shoot once, and they're sliced really, really quickly. It is nice in that sense, but as I said, they could have just given us so much more, I'd say, perks for the melee. They actually made them interact. I think glaives be used a lot more. I think that's the biggest downfall, is that there is niche areas where they're good, and you can kind of see they are good for survivability. So against like us, like tormentors and everything, they're good when you get the shield kind of going. But as I said, for me, it's just the fact that you have such juicy perks. You got freaking slice. You've got the freaking sword logic on it. And you can't get the sword slice melee to actually proc either of these, which just, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. Bungie, just give us a quick patch. Even though sword logic, all I want is sword logic. Make that do extra freaking melee damage or something when you actually have it going. But regardless, if you liked the video, show us a like. Anyway, support content, subscribe, fantastic day. And hopefully I'll see you in the next collective in the next one.